Good evening, and welcome back to Sportshire. I'm your host, Griff McClellan, and today I'm joined by community member and Long Trail School parent Heather Arava, Riley Rink manager John Larson, and Long Trail School student Soren Erickson. In today's episode, we will dive into the upcoming NHL season. First, let's discuss the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know you're a huge fan of them.
What gave it away?
It's pretty obvious. They recently acquired John Tavares.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is a game changer. I've waited my entire life, I think, for a team like this in the Leafs. We got Matthews, we've got Tavares, we've got Marner. Willie, we're still waiting for him to sign, but I think that's pretty much a done deal. I mean, it's fantastic. We are absolutely lethal when it comes to the offense.
Yeah, they were great last year. They unfortunately fell short in the first round of the playoffs.
The second year in a row.
But with the addition of Tavares, do you think this puts them over the edge and maybe into Stanley Cup contention next season?
We're definitely going to go for a deep run. I mean, there's no question about that. The problem, as everyone will tell you, is defense.
Yes.
We have a good core of veterans like Gardner, but we don't have any offensive defensemen. Like Brett Burns, though I can't picture him clean-shaven. But if we could get, a really good depth of defense, then,
Yeah, defense definitely does win championships. It's a cliche, but it's proven to work on multiple occasions in other sports as well.
Yep.
Anyways, the next team to look out for is the Washington Capitals. Defending Stanley Cup champs, the first time in their franchise history they've been able to say this. What do you guys want to say about them? Are they locks next year to repeat?
Well, I don't know about next year, but I know Ovechkin definitely deserved a cup. He's been in the league a while, and he's a very good player, one of the best.
Yeah, he'd waited 13 years for his first championship. It was long overdue, but I'm so glad he finally won it. He's had so many records. He's been outstanding to watch, but he had no rings to show for it all along. How about you?
I like Washington's chances. They're a really strong team, as I think we would agree. It was great to see Ovechkin get a cup. Their goaltending's phenomenal.
Braden Holtby is fantastic.
Absolutely. And so I think any time you head into the playoffs, there's two things you're always going to look at, and that's injuries and how well your goaltenders are playing. So I think it's the same for every team. If you stay healthy, you've got strong goaltending, you have a really good chance. And I'm from Minnesota, so I have a reason to cheer for almost any team, because if a team has someone from Minnesota, I tend to cheer for them. With TJ Oshie playing for the Capitals, it gives me a big reason to cheer for them as well as many other teams, but I was happy to see them win.
Yeah, TJ Oshie is a big difference maker for the Caps. Definitely provides a spark in their offense. Anyways, they were road warriors last year. In all 4 of their playoff series, they clinched them on the road. That's incredible. They certainly earned it.
Definitely.
It's a long season, too. I mean, 82 games coming up into the postseason. Don't know how they do it.
Yeah, and in their second round, they knocked off the 2-time defending champion Pittsburgh Penguins, whom Alex Ovechkin and the Caps had struggled to beat for years, and they finally got over that hump last season. That was incredible to watch. What would you say about that series?
Well, I think this year there's going to be some definite rivalry between Ovechkin and Crosby. I think we're going to see a lot of that.
Every year, of course.
But even more this year.
Yeah, now that they both have championship wins, it'll spice the rivalry up even more than it's ever been. Definitely.
Yep. And it's a great rivalry, and if you look at the caliber of players on both teams, just marquee players with Sidney and Alex, and that little individual rivalry that they have going, it always makes for really exciting hockey.
Definitely. All right, now let's move on to the Western Conference. There's one team that was really highly discussed last year, the Vegas Golden Knights. In their first year of existence, they made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final, but fell short to the Capitals, obviously. What would you say about them? Are they a playoff team this year? Can they repeat their success from last year?
I think they're going for it. I mean, you look at who they've acquired this past year. They've got Andre McFleury, a new goalie from the Pens. He's got 3 Stanley Cup championships. All right, they got Stastny from the Jets. And
Pacioretty from the Canadiens.
Yeah.
A new acquisition.
So, I mean, they're going hard for it.
Yeah.
And as much as you know, people want to hate on the Golden Knights for being brand new to the league and going all the way to the end, especially as a Canadian fan watching that.
Yes.
You know what? I have to root for them.
Yeah. They had 500-1 Stanley Cup odds last season. They overcame them.
Did they really?
Yes, 500-1. It's unbelievable. They were quite an underdog story. But overall, think about this. If they had won the Stanley Cup in their first year of existence, every other year that they didn't win it would have seemed like a failure, because they wouldn't have been able to live up to their success from before.
Where do you go from there?
Exactly. It would have been amazing, truly the biggest Cinderella story of all time if they'd won it, but I think they should be thankful that they did not win. They have a brighter future to look ahead to for something they didn't get last year, but it would have been a great story if they had won. Definitely.
Especially, you know, in wake of the Las Vegas shooting tragedy.
That lifted their spirits all season.
Yeah,
it was a great motivation.
Absolutely. So.
And today's actually marks the one-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me a lot to baseball now, actually. In 2013, the Boston Red Sox dealt with the Boston Marathon bombing, that they carried that momentum all the way. They're expected to be terrible, and that they ended up winning the World Series. So it's a trend in sports, it seems like.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it's a sad trend.
It is, but it is what it is. Back to hockey, obviously. Let's talk about the Nashville Predators, the President's Trophy winners from last year. What did you say about them?
I tell you what, I love it when you see hockey do really, really well in these typically non-traditional hockey markets. And if you watch them in the playoffs, and if you saw the cameras outside on the street, they had concerts outside. They had, you know, musicians playing inside. It became more than just a game. It was truly an event. And it was a big deal about who was going to sing the national anthem. And you had all these country western superstars singing the national anthem. It was fantastic. And so besides the fact that, you know, it's in a great town, they have a really, really good hockey team. And I can't get over the color of their uniforms for some reason.
They're pretty bright.
Yeah. But other than that, they've got a fantastic team. And I think they're as strong as anybody. It wouldn't be a surprise to see them in the finals.
I'd like to see Subban get a cup. Just not this year.
Yeah, not this year.
Not this year.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Nashville is in 2017 they were the lowest seed in the playoffs, and yet they surprised everybody and went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals to fall short to the Penguins. But the next year they follow up with a President's Trophy win, and unfortunately they couldn't repeat their success. Like most President's Trophy winners, they don't usually make the Stanley Cup Final. That's how it is. Anyways, another team to discuss. I know you like the Edmonton Oilers, Soren. What would you say? Are they a lock for the playoffs this year?
I don't think so. I think they're definitely going to do better than last year. I hope they're going to do better than last year, but I think they still may not do as well as they did 2 years ago when they made it to the playoffs.
Yeah, they went all the way to the second round. Connor McDavid led the way, along with Leon Draisaitl as well. It's a great young squad they had, except they injuries caught up to them last season, and they weren't able to make it past into the playoffs. I don't know. I see a redemption year from them.
I
personally.
don't.
You don't?
No, I mean, you look at it, they're pretty much fronting the exact same team they had last year, and they missed the postseason by 17 points. So
they did. In their division, they also got Vegas, who was new last year, so that just adds on.
Okay, the Leafs were in the Eastern Division, man. We have all the hard teams.
Yeah.
I think when you look at Vegas, and this is something I really appreciate, when you look at Vegas, it's kind of a lunch bucket, blue-collar team that doesn't really have any, outside of maybe Fleury, any bona fide superstars. Whereas you look at all these other teams, Toronto certainly, Edmonton certainly, that I think so much pressure is put on these superstars to win. Whereas Vegas, they all bought in together. And to me, I looked at them as a real, you know, every guy helping each other out and pulling for each other. Just like Tampa, you know, Stamkos is there. When he gets hurt, everybody looks at each other like, all right, who's going to pick up the baton now? And so I like it when they don't have to rely on that superstar all the time, and you saw with Edmonton what happens.
David's amazing, but he can't carry the entire
Nope.
team.
Yeah, you got to have a loaded roster to carry the team. It's all about the next man up.
Yeah,
if one man gets
exactly.
injured, the next guy has to step up. The whole team steps up.
Right.
This leads me to another team, the San Jose Sharks. They recently acquired
Carlson!
Erik Karlsson from Ottawa. Overall, though, they still have a pretty strong team. Last year with Joe Thornton, Patrick Marleau left. They were Stanley Cup. Yeah, and he actually joined the Maple Leafs.
He did,
That's right.
yeah,
Forgot about that.
Patty.
But San Jose made the finals 2 years ago. What do you think? Are they favorites this year, or what can we expect from Erik Karlsson?
Well, Carlson's a two-time Norris Trophy winner.
Yes.
He is so hungry for the Cup. And the Sharks, they've gone to 18 out of the 20
Last playoff
postseasons,
runs.
yeah,
Yes.
and never have gone all the way. So, I mean, they want it. They want it bad.
They're hungry.
Yeah. I didn't like Carlson because, he was a Sens, but he's actually overcome a lot of personal tragedy, too, in his life this past year. So
They got determination. I think that they have a much better chance than if they were just, oh man, we can't do this. But they made it, so I think they can really have a good idea that, yeah, we can do this. Like,
yeah.
Definitely. They're all in this as a team together.
I know. Carlson and Burns, scary.
Yeah. San Jose is pretty scary. Again, the Western Conference is loaded. We'll see, though.
I was thinking more of the Beards, but
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that too. Might scare their opponents away in playoffs.
So,
Well,
thinking
when
Kadri
you,
and the Beard incident.
Yes.
and when you look at Ovechkin winning it and how many people were happy for him, I think to a man in the NHL, people would be extremely happy for Joe Thornton if he were able to win a cup. He's always been talked about as a class act, and this much of his beard is pure gray. He's got a little bit of black left, but he's certainly put in his dues and his time, and it'd be really cool to see him hoist that cup after 20-some years. So.
Has he been around that long?
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, the next team we haven't talked about yet, a huge surprise from last season, the Winnipeg Jets, another Canadian team, obviously, who you oppose. And
Well,
you as well, Soren. Edmonton being in the Western Conference as well.
Wait, are you Canadian?
No, I'm not.
Okay, just wondering what the infatuation here was, with us Canadians.
My dad grew up near the Canadian border, so that's part of it. but-
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, well, gosh, we would just love for a Canadian team, at all to win a cup anytime soon. It's been since
1993, the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, I was still in grade school. How sad is that?
That's been 25 years. It's been a long time.
Yeah, you call me old?
No.
Okay, just checking.
No, you're not old. No.
If she's old,
So, yeah, I mean, they're an awesome team. They're exciting. But again, other than Liney, I don't really think they have any really amazing superstar standout players.
They don't, no. And I wouldn't consider Lyon a superstar himself. I mean, he's
pretty darn good.
He's pretty darn good, but the team overall is just great. They get along together. They don't have one superstar. I mean, the most notable is Lyon, but Blake Wheeler is also great. The team, they went from mediocre until, and last year they jumped all the way to Stanley Cup contention.
Yeah.
And until they fell short to Vegas. But I don't know. I think Winnipeg is definitely the team to beat in the West next year.
Well, if it's not going to be the Leafs in the finals, I'm hoping for the Jets.
and I like Winnipeg as well, other than the fact that, and we're not giving the Minnesota Wild any love on these today, so I just thought I'd throw that out there. But anyway, Winnipeg beat the Wild last year, but the term that a lot of teams use now is heavy. They play heavy, and that's what Winnipeg plays, is heavy. They're big. Their roster's big. They play that hard checking style, and that's really hard to play against. And Blake Wheeler, because I got to film my Minnesota boys again, he had a career year as far as points last year. You got Dustin Byfuglien on defense, who's a game changer, very physical player. So they've got the kind of roster that teams don't like to play against. Like I said, they're big, they're physical, and that's hard.
Like
They're
the LA
really hard to
Kings.
play against.
Definitely. Back to the East. Tampa Bay, we haven't talked about them yet. They're always a force. They're always at the top of the list of highest odds to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
But they've made 3 out of the past 4 Eastern Conference Finals, and they only have 1 Stanley Cup final appearance to show for it without a championship. The Eastern Conference, like we've said a lot, is loaded with Toronto, Washington, Pittsburgh, Boston. What do you think about Tampa Bay? They're loaded again with Steven Stamkos, Ryan McDonough, Andrei Vasilevsky in goal.
When I look at the really good teams, I love making a connection between really good teams and really good coaches, and even better, coaches that players like playing for. And if you hear about John Cooper with Tampa Bay, he's an attorney. He wasn't even involved in hockey, I don't know how many years ago. And all of a sudden he coaches his daughter's high school team or something, then all of a sudden here he is coaching in the NHL. His players love playing for him.
It's a fantastic story. I had no idea.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And if you look at, Barry Trotz with Washington, they love playing for him.
Babcock.
A reason that they're always going to do well is not just Babcock, because he's probably the most respected coach, active coach right now, but Lou Lamoriello.
But we lost him.
Did he? I didn't know
he's
that.
no longer the general
I didn't
manager.
know
He
that.
went to the Islanders or the Rangers. So we have the Marlies guy up now. He's really young. He doesn't look like he can shave.
Yeah, but no, Tampa Bay, once again, these guys play for John Cooper, and that makes a big difference.
Definitely. Yeah, Soren, what would you say? What are your thoughts on Tampa?
I think they've got some potential, definitely. I mean, they've got some good players, and they have been doing really well in the past few years. So.
Yeah, their roster strikes you as scary.
A little bit, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, you look at them on paper, they're the heavy favorites, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just...
Every year, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, they've got offense, they've got defense, they've got the whole package. So,
Yeah, you got to be balanced on both sides of the puck to compete in the Stanley Cup these days.
absolutely.
All right, what are you guys' Stanley Cup final predictions? John, would you like to start?
Once again, so many things can change, and I'll go back to what I said at the beginning of the show with regards to injuries and hot goaltending make a huge difference. And I don't know why I like Pittsburgh as much as I do, because there's a lot of Sydney haters out there.
Yes.
But I like that story about how their coach came to be and pulling up 2-3 guys from the AHL that first year that he was there when they won the whole Stanley Cup. So this might not be a popular vote, but I think Pittsburgh could be the last one standing.
Definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, they're seeking their 3rd championship in 4 years. They definitely have the championship DNA and mindset.
Yeah, they've been to the finals 5 times and won 4. So.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
How about you, Soren?
I'd have to agree with Penguins. I said that it would come down to Penguins versus Golden Knights, and the Penguins would
You
win.
have the Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup final for the 2nd year in a row.
Yeah, I think they're going to do
That's
well.
all right,
I mean,
that's all
they've
right.
got
You go with that.
they've got the fans behind them. I think this time, since they saw they could do something.
Yeah, they've established themselves as a great NHL city. They have great fans as well. About you, Toronto?
Yeah, you
Yes,
have to ask. Definitely Toronto. Yeah, this is our year. Absolutely. We just need to have, better defense and stay healthy, like John said.
Yes. And who do you have in the West, if anyone? Winnipeg, maybe? Vegas?
No, I'm actually going to go with Soren here. I'm going to go for the Golden Knights, really.
Right.
Yep. So I think they really have something going. It's been a magical inaugural season for them. They've acquired a lot of players showing that they really desire, to go deep this year postseason. So
Yeah, this year it's all about finishing what they started last year.
that's a great way to put it. Yeah. So Leafs versus Knights, Leafs in 7.
All right. We haven't had a Stanley Cup final go to a Game 7 since 2011.
Really?
It's been amazing. Yeah, Bruins and Canucks. When the Bruins won.
Bruins.
It's been 7 years.
We're not allowed to talk about the Bruins right now.
No.
No, don't like Brad Marchand.
Brad Marchand, yeah.
What a dirty player.
He's a dirty player.
He needs to stop
Definitely
licking the other players.
That's just gross.
It is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Why is he still in the league?
I don't know.
Anyway,
he's good.
yeah, he's a great
he is,
athlete. There's no
he is.
denying, but
He's a dirty player.
Yeah, you have to show some respect on the ice as well.
Yeah.
Yes, too. All right, time for my pick. In the West, I have Winnipeg. As I said earlier, they're loaded. They don't have one main superstar. I mean, notable players come to mind, obviously, but I just feel like they're going to outplay Vegas. Yeah, Vegas is a great story. They went pretty far last year, but I just don't see them repeating. They lost James Neal to the Flames. They acquired other new names as well, but I just think Winnipeg's the team to beat. And in the East, I have the Tampa Bay Lightning. As I said earlier, they have no rings to show for their success in past years, but I think this is the year they're going to make it back. Washington, you can't count them out either. They're a fantastic team. Ovechkin's finally at the top of the NHL, but in the NHL especially, it's really difficult to repeat as champions.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Pittsburgh did it, yes, so Washington can do it as well, but I just see Tampa Bay as the strongest team to beat.
Agreed. On paper, they are.
And who's actually going to win it, Jets or Lightning? I'm going with Jets in 7.
Wow. Very good.
Hopefully.
Yes, hopefully. I probably root for the Jets. I don't know. I'm actually a Caps fan, so I don't like the Lightning. But yeah, I feel like I've betrayed the Caps by picking against them, but we'll see. Go Caps, though. All right,
Caps.
any closing remarks? Any other teams we haven't talked about yet?
2 days
Chicago,
until
yeah.
regular season starts. So
Yeah, one team I haven't talked about yet is Chicago. They had an off year last year, but they had won 3 Stanley Cups from 2010 to 2015. The dynasty is over now, we think, with Marian Hossa retiring, Corey Crawford in goal is still injured.
Yep.
But with the
he
dynamic,
missed 47 games last year.
He did.
Yeah.
The dynamic
Concussion.
duo of Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, you can never count out the Hawks. They're always fun to watch. If they can get in the playoffs as a low seed, watch out.
It's a wild card.
They can go
Yeah.
far. I don't
Agreed.
expect them to make it that far next season, but you never know. We didn't expect Vegas or Winnipeg to get there last year, so
Yeah.
anything's possible in the
It's a
NHL.
surprise. Agreed.
All right, that wraps up for today.
All right.
Thank you for watching Sportshire. I hope you all enjoy hockey. I'm excited for the upcoming NHL season. We'll see you next time.